everyone, on today's video we are talking about the no renovations direction for 2021. This is how you feng shui. Hello Feng Shui Nation, welcome to another installment of my Feng Shui 2021 series. If you missed my previous video, I'll put the link on that somewhere here. Feel free to go over that because I talked about the afflicted directions for 2021 and the do's and don'ts relating to that. In today's video, we are talking about the no renovation directions, and which I kind of talked about in the previous video, but on this one, I want to delve a little bit about what does renovation mean in feng shui terms. So renovation means earth digging or any housework that is loud, that is noisy, that breaks things apart. So we're talking about digging, cutting down big trees, sawing, nailing, hammering, and things of that nature, tearing down walls, all those things. Okay. On the flip side, there are housework that you can do, which is kind of like on the not so loud end of the spectrum, like painting, putting your furniture in, those things are fine. So those activities that are quiet, they do not fall under the no renovation rule. Now, in my previous video, I talked about the 5 yellow, which is in the whole of Southeast, the 3 killings, which is from Northeast 2 until Southeast 2, and the Grand Duke direction, which is Northeast 1, and the Year Breaker direction, which is Southwest 1. So when you put them all together, these are the directions that are no renovation. If you have work that you can leave off till next year, please do. If you have to do some construction work or maybe you need an emergency repair, I would highly recommend that you work with a classically trained feng shui consultant so they can do a date selection for you to make sure that you're not doing it in the absolutely horrendous day to start work. And they may be able to give you some recommendations as well. You're probably asking and wondering if there are any ways to remedy if you have to do a renovation in these directions. And my answer is not so much. You can put, if you absolutely must have a renovation, you can put more metal in those areas, and maybe you can put a salt cure as well, just to help absorb some of the negative energy that gets kicked up by the construction. But honestly, they just minimize it a little bit. You will still get the negative results from that. What are the negative results? If you have to do work in a no renovation direction, it can run the gamut. It could be you going over budget, maybe not so great relationship with your contractor, maybe materials being delayed, that's on, or maybe one of the workmen getting injured. That's on the work construction side. But on the non-construction side, especially if you live in the house as the construction is being done, it's general challenges that can affect your health, your relationship, and your finances. Especially if you are, of all the directions here, between the Grand Duke, 3 killings, 5 yellow, and the Year Breaker, the ones that have to watch out for the most is the Grand Duke. If your house is facing Grand Duke, which for this year is Northeast 1, so if your house is facing Northeast 1, then renovating will be absolutely it will result in something that will make you a little bit panicky. I have had a situation where I have a client who already wanted to put in decking. His house was facing the Grand Duke, which is no reno, and the decking was to be installed. The back deck was to be installed in the 3 killing area, which is also a no reno. So it's triple whammy actually. If your house is facing Grand Duke, that's already 2 X's against you. And if the place that you're actually doing the work is in the 3 killings, that's another X. That's like triple X in terms of the no renovation. I tried my best to tell him, look, like, trust me, just put your back deck in like next year. And he said, I can't, I already spent 10 grand on the materials. I can't just keep it for a year. And he went ahead with it. And what happened a few months after that, he lost money in his investments, which is unfortunate because we feng shuied his home to get optimal, and he did get positive results from work. It's just because the renovation was not planned in advance, not properly planned, then it just took him a few steps back, right? And so I know those of you guys who are doing renovations, you're going to be like, Safrina, I can't follow all these feng shui guidelines. We're building a whole house from the ground up. I'm going to be touching all these directions. I have a client who's currently building her house, from the ground up. What we do is we do a date selection. Again, reach out to a properly trained feng shui consultant for this to make sure that you get the optimal date to start work. And as best as you can, you put the remedies, the little remedies that I mentioned earlier, and then maybe plan the build as well, right? If they need to do some digging to put in, pipe work or whatever, do it in the month where the affliction is at its weakest, and so on and so forth. Again, it's too much for me to cover in a little video like this. Reach out to a classically trained feng shui consultant. Even better if they know how to do date selection as well. That way again, it's the best solution is still not to reno, but if you have to, then push comes to shove, this is the way that you would do it to kind of, again, it doesn't completely erase the potential negative effects, but it at least helps you navigate the feng shui minefield a little bit, so that if anything were to happen, it's something that you're able to sustain. It's not something that's going to break your back financially, emotionally, relationship-wise, and health-wise. Welcome back, Feng Shui Nation. If I am new to you and you love classical Feng Shui, meaning real Feng Shui that gives you real results, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, because I will be giving new videos every Thursday, and make sure you don't miss out on that.